As we get older, we begin to lose our physical strength, but a biological breakthrough proves humans carry the genetic code for a dormant supermuscle. You'll learn exactly how to turn it back on. Sarcopenia, the clinical decline of muscle in the elderly, destroys the specific fibers responsible for explosive power. This loss of rapid contraction turns once simple movements into a sudden, grueling physical struggle. Human muscles divide into two types: thin, steady Type I for endurance, and thick Type II fast-twitch fibers for power. Mammals have a third elite category, massive Type IIb fibers for maximum velocity. But in humans, these went entirely dormant. What few standard fast-twitch fibers we do possess actively die off over the decades. This highly specific loss of power is why aging directly correlates with physical weakness. For a very long time, doctors believed this evolutionary downgrade and the subsequent decay of fast-twitch fibers was a strictly one-way street. We operated under the assumption that aging inevitably strips away physical independence because human DNA lacked the biological blueprint to fight back. That assumption falls apart when we look at power-trained athletes. People who regularly lift heavy weights or perform explosive movements actively resist this specific decay of fast-twitch muscle. This protection is unique to power training. Pure endurance athletes, like marathon runners, do not show the same preservation of fast-twitch capabilities as they age. To understand exactly what was happening beneath the skin, a 2025 study from the University of Tsukuba analyzed human skeletal muscle biopsy samples. They actually found a distinct biological difference. The power athletes possessed significantly higher levels of a specific group of proteins known as Large MAF transcription factors. These athletes aren't slowing down time. Their training habits are naturally keeping a specific molecular master switch firmly in the on position. The Tsukuba team wanted to see what would happen if they manually triggered this switch. They took human muscle cells derived from iPS stem cells, essentially blank slate human cells, and introduced these large MAF factors. The proteins immediately targeted and woke up the MYH4 gene, a piece of genetic code that had been asleep since our distant evolutionary ancestors. This chart shows the scale of the reaction. After MAF factors were introduced, MYH4 gene expressions skyrocketed up to 1,000 times its baseline. That active gene immediately synthesized myosin IIb, the exact building block required to create ultra-fast, dormant mammalian muscle fibers. By contrast, in a typical adult who doesn't perform strength training, natural levels of these MAF proteins steadily plummet with age, locking those genes away. The biological upgrade for elite physical power was never deleted from the human genome. It was just sitting in the dark, waiting for the MAF switch to turn it on. Researchers are now identifying the molecular foundations of these transcription factors. The goal is to develop pharmaceuticals that could induce large MAF factors, potentially offering a way to prevent age-related mobility decline without genetic engineering. While those drug therapies are still in development, you already possess the behavioral tools to influence this mechanism right now. Recall the biopsy results. Individuals with a consistent history of power training naturally exhibit high levels of both MAF and MYH4 expression. To demand that your body activates these fast-twitch genes, you have to incorporate explosive, high-velocity movements into your physical routine. You don't have to train like an Olympic sprinter. We can safely perform jump squats, kettlebell swings, or simply focus on moving the weight as fast as possible during the upward phase of a standard lift. Large MAF transcription factors act as the master control for these dormant fast-twitch functions. Based on the Tsukuba findings, explosive training is currently the most effective way to trigger this molecular shift. We do not have to view the human body as a machine destined to weaken over time. It is a vessel carrying an ancient evolutionary reservoir of strength, fully accessible to us as long as we demand it.